The filming process. The filming of Raiders of the Lost Ark began on June 23, 1980, on location in the French port town of La Rochelle, where they shot the scenes featuring the Nazi submarine. They also filmed some scenes in Hawaii and California. After that, the crew went to the movie set at Elstree Studios located in the UK. Lucas had already collaborated with their artists and engineers on Star Wars. They filmed the scenes featuring the Well of Souls and Marion's Bar there. All scenes that took place in Egypt according to the script were shot in Tunisia. Spielberg shared that this part of the filming process was the toughest in his life. The temperature was often almost 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and more than 150 people from the crew got sick with amoebic dysentery from the local food. By the way, Spielberg was one of the few people who dodged a bullet because he ate preserved spaghetti and drank bottled water brought from England. One of the most memorable scenes where Jones kills the swordsman was filmed in the city of Kairouan, Tunisia. However, it was supposed to be way more complex. The stuntman, Terry Richards, who played Indiana's enemy, spent several weeks training sword skills for an extensive fight scene. But Harrison Ford was too weak from dysentery to use the whip, so he asked Spielberg if he could just shoot the enemy. The director liked the idea, so he added a short shooting scene instead of the fight. Fun fact, they did 10 takes to shoot the scene where Ford is escaping the boulder because they had used 10 cameras for it. Every time, Ford had to run in front of the 220-pound model made of glass fiber, cast, and wood. During one of the takes, the actor stumbled, but Spielberg thought that moment looked very natural and decided to keep it in the final version. Later on, the director mentioned that it was crazy of him to make Ford perform the stunt himself, but the scene wouldn't look so convincing had they used a stuntman. By the way, Harrison tried to perform as many stunts as he could, which would often lead to traumas. For instance, while filming the fight scene near a plane, the actor got a knee ligament injury, but he kept on working despite the pain.
Kämpf! Junge, komm runter da!
Apart from that, the actor was really dragged along behind a car, which resulted in bruised ribs. Later, Ford joked that if that scene had been that dangerous, the director would have filmed it at the very end. The scene where the monkey does a Nazi salute was George Lucas's idea. To make sure it nailed the task, they hung a grape outside of the frame, which the monkey tried to reach. But they still had to make 50 takes to get the one where the action would look natural. For the scenes in the Well of Souls, the movie creators bought all of these snakes they could find in London pet stores, but Spielberg thought it wasn't enough, so he decided to cut up some garden hoses to make it look like there were way more reptiles. Indiana's favorite hat was bought in the famous Herbert Johnson store in London, founded at the end of the 19th century. The costume designer, Deborah Nadoolman, decided to roll up the hat and sit on it with Ford to give it that worn-out look. Ben Burtt, the sound designer of the movie, recorded lots of interesting sound effects for it. For instance, the sound of a snake slithering is a combination of Burtt running his fingers through a cheese casserole with the sound of a wet sponge on duct tape. The sound of the rolling boulder is actually a Honda Civic going down a steep gravel road, while the sound of the Ark opening was the tank lid of a toilet. Curiously, although all Nazis spoke German in the movie, their lines were still dubbed over for release in Germany because of the actors' thick American accents. By the way, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the first movie where Spielberg used the help of a second-unit director to stay on schedule. Michael D. Moore filmed most of the scenes for the truck chase and also the scenes where stuntmen took Ford's place. The soundtrack to the movie was created by the Oscar-winning John Williams. He didn't want the music to turn out too serious, and he tried to add some exaggerated dramatic undertones to it. Williams spent several weeks crafting two versions of the main theme, and Spielberg decided to feature both of them in the movie. The composer mixed two pieces and wrote a theme known as the Raiders March. A shooting day cost producers around $100,000, not including the filming crew's salaries. They spent $4 more million on the set decorations. Due to the high rental fees, they had to work super fast with equipment like a camera stabilizer for smoother shots and a camera crane for bird's eye view shots. The budget constraints defined the number of extras as well. Spielberg had to go with 600 people instead of 2,000. To hit the deadlines, the director did about 4 takes most of the time instead of the usual dozen. Kasdan's screenplay had detailed edited scenes for transitioning from one location to another, but Spielberg decided to save money by showing the map and an animated line going from one destination to another. By the way, the plane shots where Jones and Marion fly out of Nepal were borrowed from the adventure fantasy movie Lost Horizon, while the established shot near Jones's home was recycled from the historical thriller The Hindenburg. Spielberg said that he resorted to stock footage as another way to cut expenses and claimed that only the most attentive viewers could spot these shots. The post-production stage took about 2 months, and the main focus was on the CGI and filming some additional minor shots. The first version of the movie was almost 3 hours long, but Spielberg and the editing team had to boil it down to 115 minutes. Initially, the rating administration classified the movie as R-rated because of the violent depiction of the antagonist's death at the end of the movie. But that could mean losing a substantial part of the audience, so the director decided to add some pyrotechnics that would cover up most of the terrifying moments. The administration gave the updated version a pass, and Raiders of the Lost Ark received a PG rating, which allows kids to watch the movie under parental guidance. But you don't need your parents to guide you watching our videos. I'll allow it.